Hello, hello, kings and queens and everybody in between. It's Ashley Michelle here, your favorite resident witch, and welcome back to the Goddess Complex. If you're new here, welcome home. And we have another episode of Astrology After Dark with Dani, that witch next door. How are you, babe?
So good. So happy to be back with you again.
I am too. I'm really excited. I feel like it's been like we got into fall and fall just kind of like came. And it was just
So
like,
true.
we're here, Q4,
We here.
we're here. Like
Yes.
end of the year, we're here. And it's like, hold
Yep.
on a second. Hold on.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, which is a good thing, right? It's a good thing to be busy, but at the same time, it can be a little chaotic. So it's nice to take some space and do
Yeah.
what we do best, which is talk that astro shit.
So grounding. I love these episodes.
Me too, me too. So, friends, today we are talking about another Kardashian, the Kardashian that we don't hear much about, Mr. Rob, the infamous Rob Kardashian Jr., not the senior. Rest in peace. Um, those of you who know the Kardashians know why we picked Rob. Dani is less familiar with Rob, and that's kind of the point.
Mhm.
Most people are. He's an enigma. And you all know, like, the Kardashians are a guilty pleasure of mine. Love them or hate them. I find them absolutely fascinating. And we've got all their birth times with excellent accuracy, and we love that. So we're going to start off this episode by me just like educating you, Dani, and the audience about why I chose Rob and who Rob is in the Kardashian clan and everything I know. Now, I wouldn't consider myself to be like a Kardashian expert, but I know a lot, probably more than I should, about their lives, to be honest. They've gotten my money, let's just say that. Except for Rob. I did not buy his socks. So um
Except for Rob.
yeah,
Except
except
for
for
Rob.
Rob. Yeah. Poor baby Rob. That's his storyline all the time. Not Rob. So out of the Kardashian clan, Rob is the only boy. He has a baby with Blac Chyna, Dream. Rob, yeah, yeah. So Rob has been kind of going through it in recent years. A lot of people are like, "Where's Rob? We haven't seen Rob." He used to be really integral in the show, and then he slowly started being like, fuck this show, fuck TV, fuck doing this, fuck you, Kim. Like aggressively.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob and Chloe are by far the closest when it comes to their relationship dynamics as siblings.
Same.
Um, Rob had a very strong relationship with Lamar. Some of the pop culture lure is that Rob OD'd on fentanyl a couple of years back, and Rob picked up his drug habit. This is all allegedly.
Right.
Nobody come for me. That through Lamar. So when Lamar was heavy on drugs and alcohol addiction and abuse, that was right around the time that they were filming Chloe and Lamar's show. And Rob was living with Chloe and Lamar, and Rob was spending a lot of time with Lamar. And then when Lamar had his crazy accident, Lamar's basketball player who was married to Chloe for quite some time, he had a crazy accident. Long story short, he OD'd in a brothel, had got all fucked up. He almost died. It was crazy. Yeah, the tea. I could go on and on and on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so Lamar got clean. And Lamar opened up a bunch of rehab facilities. Right around the time that Lamar had his accident and got clean, Rob was gone off the face of the earth. Like we still don't we don't know where Rob is, right? And I mean, I must say, in true Scorpio season fashion, when we're recording this and everything that's going on with Diddy, Pluto, and Aquarius, and like everything that's being opened up about Hollywood, we cannot deny that these people in power hide shit. That's the
Yeah.
one thing that we know is true. They hide shit to keep up with appearances. So you ask, Kris Jenner where Rob is. Rob's not feeling well. We wanted to get better. There's stuff that Rob was diagnosed with diabetes too, because he blew up from, average weight to over 300 pounds. Rob is
Right.
saying, he is on a lot of drugs to fix the drug problem. So, long story short, Bam, if you guys remember Bam
Yeah,
Margera.
Margera, of course. Now,
Yes.
Bam's story I have followed a little bit. Yes, so I know I'm familiar there. Yes.
So what Bam is saying is a lot of again, the lure around what's going on with Rob. They put Rob on all these drugs. He's got erectile dysfunction because of all these drugs. They put him on all these drugs to combat the drug use, and that's why Rob has gained all the weight. And now are the Kardashians on Ozempic? Are they not? How would all the Kardashians be on Ozempic and then Rob not be on Ozempic? There's all this lure going on. But here's what we know to be true. Where the fuck is Rob? That's going to be true. The Kardashian family lives a very public lifestyle. We see Dream, his daughter, more than we see Rob. Dream's got a fucking business, bro. Dream has a business in her goddamn name.
So, how old is she now?
5, something like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So she's even got a
How do
business
we
anyway.
see Dream? What's that setting usually? Where do we see
So,
her?
group birthday parties, the children
Okay.
events, all because
Okay.
they got a clan of little mixed
Totally.
babies, and they're cute as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, they got a clan. So we will see Dream in there hanging out often.
Rob's never there.
That's what they say. But
Okay.
Rob has really been done with the TV. My personal opinion is that there's obviously a lot of shit that they keep hidden. Now, a lot of things are coming to light that Kim leaked her own sex tape, again, allegedly. And I mean, knowing what we know about celebrity influence and power, I believe it. I totally believe it. She leaked her sex
Yeah.
tape, not the tangent to left, but she leaked her sex tape at the same time when sex tapes were all the rage. She said Paris told her to do it. And I believe that too. You
Yeah.
know what I
Same.
mean? Yeah. So it's like, I think Rob's seen some dark shit. And we know the Kardashians have a relationship with Diddy, not to bring Diddy up, but we're all thinking about it. If you guys know anything about what's happening, we know we've seen footage of the Kardashians in deep relationship with Diddy. So who all knows what that man saw? All we know is over the last couple years, being in the limelight has given Rob a disdain. Like he wants nothing to do with it and his family. And there seems to be this distance, this wall that he has created with his family that supersedes the TV stuff. Like it's not just for the drama or the
Mhm.
storyline. He's like put off, is how it comes off anyway, that he's very much put off by some of the things that those women have done to get to the top. Um, he's the one that needs to write the memoir. Fuck Chris.
I
He
have
needs
a
to write
quick
it.
question. You
Yeah.
said that Rob has been in this, like taking this position of fuck TV, fuck the show, fuck the limelight. You said fuck Kim. What is the quick backstory of that? Why Kim
We don't
specifically?
know. Well, that's the thing.
Oh,
All we know is when Rob talks his shit, when Rob does his big one, his energy is always aimed towards Kim. One could argue that Chris, they say the devil works hard, Chris Jenner works harder. It's a famous saying. One could argue that Chris Jenner has had a hand in a lot of this chaos, but Rob loves his mama, and his mom is also accused of babying him. His mom handles all his finances. He's asking his mom for stuff. Rob has had a lot of failed businesses, including the sock business. We all know about the sock business. These designer socks, $30 a pair, made with like Egyptian silk. I was like Arthur James, something like that. Arthur Gregory, I can't remember. But that failed. He's had a lot of failed businesses. Rob has been in the shadow of his sisters for quite some time. And he has made it clear that he doesn't want to play ball, or that he has been removed from playing ball because he's too problematic. That is kind of what the
understand.
lure is surrounding
Okay.
Rob right now. Does he have a drug problem? Is he in
No.
rehab? That's another lure too. Like, did they send him off to rehab? Because you've heard about the celebrity rehab camps. Drew Barrymore talked about her experience in one.
Yep.
That
Yep.
it's that sort of
Right.
idea that they put him down.
What's the story currently that we know with Blac Chyna with his baby mama? They're not
Ooh.
together. Have
Ooh,
they not been
oh,
together?
oh, she sued the Kardashians, honey.
I remember I remember when it was like years ago when it blew up. Well, when she was
Because
pregnant. Like I
Rob,
remember that. And
yeah,
that's like the last I remember of it.
because Rob, his ass, he's not a Scorpio, but it's giving Scorpio. He put out revenge porn. So essentially him and Blac Chyna, filmed something being freaky, and Rob blasted that shit on Twitter. when they were like in a big fight. Him and Blac Chyna have had a very toxic relationship this whole time.
Okay.
And so now I don't even know where the co-parenting is. Because if you ask me personally, I think Blac Chyna's been gagged. So as far as the lawsuit goes, there was definitely some sort of gag order around Blac Chyna talking about the family for her to get her bag, for sure.
Totally.
How
Totally.
deep, yeah, how deep it goes, I don't know. All I know is that girl was talking hella-ish, and then she shut the fuck up. She like just stopped talking about them. Their name was no longer in her mouth,
Okay.
including Rob. So I don't even know where the co-parenting situation is. She got a beautiful baby though. And that's where it's at right now. So like
Okay.
where Rob is Waldo. Hmm.
Rob is Waldo. So we
Hmm.
physically pretty much haven't seen him? Like literally?
No, literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Meanwhile,
And
the
the reason
Kardashians are
this is a
filming
big
on,
deal,
yeah,
exactly, is
yeah.
because this is one of our most public facing families that will,
They're acting like
as we're
nothing is
talking
wrong,
about, will
Dani.
do about anything to
Anything. They're
be,
acting like
yeah,
nothing is wrong. They're acting like nothing is weird. They're acting like everything's fine.
fascinating.
And it's
Okay,
been like that
last
now for a
question.
while.
What's the order of siblings again? So I remember where Rob is in the family
Yes.
dynamic there.
So it's Courtney, Kim, Chloe, Rob, and then oh my God. Everybody
Kendall,
always forgets Kendall. Thank you. Sorry,
then
Kendall.
Kylie.
Everybody forgets her because she's so quiet. Kendall's the Scorpio, and then Kylie. That was so on brand for Kendall that I just blanked on her name. Poor thing. Oh my
No, but
God.
one.
So
Okay,
on
okay.
brand. So that's the order of siblings. Yeah. And yeah, so Rob is the last one by the late Rob Kardashian. So,
This is so okay.
and the
Can I
only
just
boy.
tell? Yes. Can I just first of all tell all of you this is what I love about astrology? I love looking at the chart and then I love being given context like that. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
being given a backstory like that because
Hmm.
then the chart just lights the fuck
Clicks.
up. Yes,
Hmm.
there's
Hmm.
so much here. You're absolutely right. And
Yeah.
he might not be a Scorpio sun, but he sure as fuck is a Pisces sun.
100%. And that's probably why Freudian slip.
Freudian slip. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And also one thing too, just before Danny and I got on recording, I was saying I really wanted to focus heavy on the Chiron and Gemini. You see why now, right?
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
crazy, crazy. So, friends, you already know we're on YouTube. So, watch the visual. The visual's on YouTube. The link is in the bio if you're watching us on audio. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. We're trying to grow the YouTube family. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Come on, let's do it. We love you. So, please, let's grow. Let's grow. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. And as per usual, we're doing Astro Dash charts. They are just great. I love these guys. Oh my God, we should do Trump next. Do you guys want to do Trump? Oh my God, let us know in the comments. Woo! Woo!
Actually, for celebrity charts, Astro Dash charts is really nice.
It's really, really nice. It's so true. It's so true. But yeah, let us know in the comments if you guys want us to do Trump. We'll try our best to be as unbiased as we can with our political opinions. We'll just read the chart for what it is. But anywho, Rob Kardashian. So his birthday is March 17th, 1987, born 4:14 a.m. Birth chart time accuracy is excellent, darling.
We like
Um,
that.
let's go over the big three and then lean into Chiron. And friends, if you're looking at this or if you're curious about this or if you have more questions on this, let us know that you want us to go a bit deeper on Rob Kardashian. I feel like over this series, we'll get to every single Kardashian and I'll have no problem revisiting Rob.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
yeah, exactly. Because it's interesting, even the North Node in Aries. My husband has a North Node in Aries too, and well, his midheaven is in Aries. But the North Node is the node of destiny, right? And that's our most like unfamiliar placement. And he's having quite some time trying to tap into that North Node in Aries. He's so lost. But anywho, so we have a Sun in Pisces, we have an Aquarius Ascendant, we have a Libra Moon. And it looks like, and I'll double check here, but it looks like we have Venus almost right on top of the Ascendant.
Yeah,
Yep,
it is.
16
They're
and
exact.
16. Yeah.
What's that Mercury? Will you go down and double check
Yeah,
Mercury? Is
yeah,
it Aquarius or
yeah.
Pisces?
0 degrees of Pisces.
0 Pisces. That's why I wanted
Hmm.
to verify, because you can see it right on the line right there.
Right, 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 exactly. So Dani, as somebody who doesn't know Rob as much as I do, what sticks out for you? Where do you want to go first?
Okay, so I thought it was really the Venus exact conjunction
Yeah,
jumped out immediately
it's a big one.
because I thought that this was a major driver behind his decision on being seen. Big time, big time, big time.
Hmm.
The ascendant is so much of the ascendant is how we're seen and how we're received and like the first impressions that we give off.
Right.
um the midheaven and the ascendant are crazy active for celebrities. Like anyone that's
Hmm.
constantly in the limelight, their ascendant and their midheaven, two places to go. First of all, for him
Hmm.
to have an ascendant in Aquarius, which, keep in mind folks, this is the opposite of Leo, right? Leo's across the chart. This is opposite of Leo. We're not really, the limelight doesn't jazz us up here. We're not
Right.
necessarily doing this for the vanity metrics. We're not
Hmm.
necessarily doing this for the eyes on us, for the adoration, for the praise.
Hmm.
There's bigger fish to fry in Aquarius. Like, this is so much bigger than this. And it made so much sense to me that Venus was right there, because Venus gets watered down way too often as this is
I
your
agree.
relationship planet.
She
And like,
does.
that is such a one note way to describe such a more nuanced planet than that.
I love
I
that
was,
one note way to describe. Love that.
yes,
Yeah.
because the truth is, our relationships like folded in there, sure. Is that one of the layers of Venus? Sure. This is why you hear about Venus being associated with business as well. And when you
Hmm.
start putting the layers of Venus together, how I like to look at this is, these are some of our deepest, most meaningful values in this life, the things that
Hmm.
we hold nearest and dearest. So for Venus to be in Aquarius on top of the ascendant, this was a huge amplifier, in my opinion, of fuck all this shit. None of
Yeah.
this shit fucking matters to me. This doesn't ring my bell. I'm clearly not getting anything out of it. I
Hmm.
wouldn't be surprised if he is one of, if not the only Kardashian child to be like, I didn't fucking ask for this. Like,
Yeah.
we have been thrust into this our entire life. And maybe my
Hmm.
other siblings have been like gobbling this up, but like, I didn't
Hmm.
fucking ask for this.
Yeah.
And with Venus right there being so associated with values and business, for example, to have that like stinger that you've had multiple businesses fail among a family
Right.
of huge success, you're
Yeah.
telling me that that doesn't like get you? That
And
would
you're
have
the
to
only
get
male.
him.
You know,
Yes,
you're
on
the only
top of that.
male. We have
And
to
he
take a
was
look at
born in
gender roles too.
87.
Hmm.
Yeah, like, don't act like, let's call it what it is. For the year that he was born, we were not super progressive about masculinity at that time.
We're
And so I
still
wouldn't,
working on it. We're still
exactly. So
working
I
on it.
wouldn't
So
be surprised
yeah,
if he takes a huge hit to his ego, and
of
quite
course.
frankly, deeper than that, self-worth. That
Yeah.
he's the only male, he's the one who's failing.
Right.
I mean, that Pisces sun like adds into all of this, and I can
Woo!
see
And it's in the first
so much.
house.
Yep, I can see so much
Ooh.
where and how we spilled into addiction and substance abuse, for sure.
So
Unfortunately, I can see that.
yeah. So let's talk about that. Pisces one in the first house, the sun that is. So we know that our sun is our sense of ego, and we love our Pisces energy. They're amazing artists, they're super emotional, they're very
Yeah.
intuitive, they're very watery. But you know, the lower octave of Pisces can lean into substance abuse and drug abuse. And then you add the layer of being in the public eye. And again, we've seen it time and time again. A lot of celebrities lean into that shit. They lean into
Mm,
that escapism. So then when you read the chart and you read a chart like this, where they've got the sun in Pisces one, if things don't go as planned, or if we don't do things or implement certain things to kind of stop the train while it's going, it's easy to see, like you said, how drug addiction and alcohol abuse can kind of run rampant here. Again, this is all alleged, but I mean, look at the facts that we have here, friends. You know what I mean? Um, I feel like Rob at this point is drowning his sense of self into like this is all that I'm worth. Almost. Like he got
Yeah.
big and that was a whole thing. I got fat, Rob's words, so all of these things are kind of piling on to one another. If any of you guys do watch the Kardashians, you saw the most recent season where Khloe called Rob asking for sperm. Long story short, Dani, she called Rob asking for sperm for her friend Malika to have a baby. Rob and Malika hooked up 10 years ago, and Rob responded with, I can't come anymore. Not even, he was on the phone, not even like, no, thank you. Not even like stop fucking around. Not even any he goes, I can't come anymore. He said it like 3 times. Like, what aren't you hearing? Like his Rob's humor is that's his sort of humor, but he's dead serious. He's like taking jabs at himself. And so where some of the lure around him being hopped up on drugs to counteract the other things is the erectile dysfunction. That's why I brought up Bam Margera earlier, because he also said the same thing, that he could not come and fuck his wife for years because of everything he was on, including the weight gain that happened. So there
Mhm.
are internet sleuths making parallels to some of this stuff, which is fascinating, is very, very fascinating. So I find it so self-deprecating to respond in that way. You can feel the overtone of worthlessness even saying
Yeah,
something like
exactly.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
So we talk about the escapism in Pisces, and this is kind of you can look at that in that's what I should say. This can present itself in a couple of different ways. So one way that I explain it a lot is Pisces is very often more or most aware of like that which we cannot see. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're like much more connected to the arcana of the universe, the secrets and the
Mm-hmm.
mysteries of the universe. This is why we
Mm-hmm.
describe them as very psychic, very spiritual. I always
Mm-hmm.
tell people, I'm like, that's a burden. It's a burden to bear that and to have to still play on Earth School and to still have to be
Yeah.
here while carrying that burden. That's one way we see this escapism and where it kind of comes from. But the other way, and this is what I pick up on the most for Rob, is when major Pisces placements feel either backed into a corner or so tangled the fuck in some mess that they feel or see no way out. And so they get into deep, dark, fuck it mode, like fuck it
Mm-hmm.
all.
And that's where he
And
is right now, in my personal
that's how it
opinion.
feels. That
Mm-hmm.
really feels like this is some of the deepest, not even regret, but there's probably some regret in there, but there's also probably a fuck ton of anger and resentment toward the whole family. It sounds like he uses Kim the most as the lightning rod for that, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like you mentioned, that's probably more mommy issues than he's probably
Yeah.
willing to admit for himself. Just
Right,
saying.
right, right.
But this feels like someone who is struggling with hopelessness
Yeah,
and is like, there is no point. It doesn't matter. And
exactly.
they've probably, I mean, this is all alleged. This is a pure Dani theory, but they probably have gotten him to at least a point where they're like, look, we won't make you be a part of anything, but shut up. Like, don't
Yeah.
say anything to anyone. Don't talk about anything to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone will make sure you're taken care of financially as far as you need. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah, yeah.
it, it really sounds like he got to a point of I don't give a shit about any of this. And the
Mm-hmm.
truth is just like you brought up, and we're not going to go into the Diddy stuff, but just like you brought up, the Kardashians have a deep, tangly past. That's all
They
I'm going
are
to
in
say about that.
entanglements, honey.
Yes. And I wouldn't be
Entanglements.
surprised if they're like, yes, we care about this person. He's in our family. He's our brother. He's our son.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, just like what mysteriously happened with Blac Chyna, just shutting the fuck up
Yeah,
all of a sudden.
yeah.
Um, this would probably happen for many celebrities, but if the right information got out, it could destroy everything for
I want to
them.
see the Diddy tapes. I mean, I know we're not going to talk about Diddy, but guys, don't you want to see the Diddy tapes?
I know.
Apparently,
I know.
hella celebrities are on the Diddy tapes. And everybody's shutting the fuck up. Everybody. So many celebrities have left the fucking country, bro. They're not even in the United States right now until all this dies
Holy
down.
shit.
It's insane.
Oh
This is
my
more Pluto and
God.
Aquarius than I can even handle. I'm like
Let
tweaking
us
over
know
here.
if you need
It's
Diddy
great.
part two episode.
Yes,
That
let
might
us
be
know
what
if you
has
guys
to
want
happen is
Diddy
like
part two.
aftermath.
If you haven't seen the Diddy episode that we did before this shit got big, I urge you to go watch it
Oh yeah.
because the breadcrumbs that we dropped before this got big was I surprised myself at how amazing we are at astrology. I'm
Just
just
saying.
saying. Give us a like. But anyways, so let's really quick before we end it, let's talk a little bit about this
Yeah.
Chiron and Gemini 4 because this is a testament to a lot of what we've been saying here.
And in
So
the fourth.
and in the fourth, right? So, like, if you're not familiar with Chiron, friends, Chiron is known as our wounded healer. When we look at our Chiron placements, we're looking at our deepest soul wound. To put it to you better, we're looking at like that sign, wherever the sign is that you see Chiron, the most toxic trait you can think of that that sign has.
Mm,
To put it in like layman's direct terms. Um, and so when I see Chiron and Gemini 4, the first thing that I think of is he can't speak. It's the first thing I think of. He can't speak. He can't speak up for himself. He feels like he has no
hmm
place to
hmm
speak. He's been told he's stupid when he's speaking, been told to shut the fuck up, to parrot kind of what you said before. And he specifically cannot speak. And the reason why, friends, I'm saying this is because Gemini is our curious kid. Gemini loves to speak. Gemini won't shut up. And he specifically feels like he can't speak at home. Gemini in the fourth house. At home, where he's supposed to feel the safest, he often feels the most shunned or shut down, if that makes sense. How do you interpret this placement, Dani?
You just said, and I would add on to it,
Hmm.
when we have an unhealed and think of like a festering wound, because we, right, Ash
Hmm.
said our wounded healer when we do the healing. But y'all would be pretty shocked at what happens or what it looks like when those wounds go untouched. And
Yeah.
that Chiron placement is this festering, fucking infected wound.
Yeah.
And listen, I am going to call this what it is. Love them or hate them, the Kardashians are not doing much inner healing work. They're not doing much
No.
personal development and growth
No.
work. All right. I think
Yeah.
it's safe for me to say,
I'd say that. I mean, we can read all the
which
books on being
means,
millionaires, but like, are
yeah,
we
just
meditating,
saying.
friends?
Don't tell me you're fucking going to like real fucking therapy and shit because you're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're not. It would
Hmm.
show. That's the thing. It would show. Now,
Hmm.
that being said, not only do I agree with everything that you just said about Chiron and Gemini, for Rob specifically, because this is an unhealed wound,
Right.
he's also, I can guarantee you, repeating his own traumas using
Yeah.
his voice. So we see
Yeah.
this in Chiron and Gemini a lot where there is kind of misguided intentions or using words to basically continue abuse where you were abused. And this makes a lot of
Mm.
sense when
With
you
Blac
said the I
Chyna
can't come.
and
Yes, that's what,
and the I Can't Come,
yes,
Blac
yes,
Chyna, all of that. Why you go put
all
that
of that.
whole girl's booty all up on Twitter? That's your whole baby mama. Why would you do that to her? No matter what she did. Why'd you do that?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I mean, that's crazy.
exactly. This
Yeah.
is now the reason I kind of like made eyes about the fourth house. If you've heard us on Astrology After Dark before, we've talked about the fourth house because
The
most
fourth
of the
house is
fucking
a
people
heavy
we're
one,
talking
honey.
about had got some fourth house shit going on.
They really
This is
do.
the deepest part of us in this life incarnation,
Hmm.
like deep into our ancestral roots, deep into past lives and how we got here, like shit that was beyond your control that had an impact in who you are today comes a
Hmm.
lot from our fourth house.
Hmm.
And so when you have a very unattended fourth house, we have a lot of repeating of trauma. We have a
We
lot of abuse
do.
repetition. We have a lot
Yeah.
of passing off the buck, if you will,
Yeah.
because the human brain honestly doesn't know how to cope otherwise. And when you they're
Hmm.
in that much pain, even if it's emotional or mental pain, it will do anything to have these temporary reliefs of it. And
Mm-hmm.
Gemini, this is not a shade to Gemini, but Gemini being one of the earlier signs, meaning like Aries is typically our first, like this is one of the earlier signs, Pisces being the final sign. When we're in our earlier signs, we can be a little short-sighted. We're not
Mm-hmm.
as comfy with like long-term vision and making a
Mm-hmm.
smart decision now and thinking about like how that's going to affect us later. So I this is where I see Rob doing a lot of short-term impulsive decisions that
Mm-hmm.
bring that like temporary relief in the moment, especially with his words, right? And the humor.
Right.
Many people attribute our wit and humor to Gemini placements in the chart big
Mm-hmm.
time. And to use it in that really self-abuse, self-deprecating
He's
way,
always been that way. He's like on
totally,
all the shows.
totally.
Anybody that watches the Kardashians knows that. He's
Oh
always
yeah.
had this like weird kind of sick sense of humor that is always like a
It's
tinge
almost awkward.
self-deprecating. It's
Yeah.
awkward. It's
Yeah.
awkward. It's
It's like
awkward.
there's
Yeah.
dark humor, and then this is
Mm-hmm.
like a step past that when you're like, this is like cringy and hard for all of us to be in here. And we have all
Yeah.
been around that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
That's
for
the
sure.
vibe that I get here. Big, big
100%.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this makes not to be a dick, but this whole chart
Mhm.
makes so much sense. The last thing I would say is poor Rob. I'm going to hand
Poor
him a
Rob.
poor Rob because of the Libra moon.
Yeah,
Deep
yup.
down, deep down, he's going to have a hard time really standing up for himself versus
Libra moon and
making the
8
peace for
too.
everyone else. Exactly, because the
Like
moon is
his
our
his
emotions.
his
Yep,
darker houses are just very intense.
huff,
They're
huffies.
yeah, they're very
He's
intense.
caught between with a Libra moon, Libra being in the sign or the placement of the emotions. Libra moon has to do a lot of their own self-worth stuff because
Yeah.
they are going to naturally try and like they naturally give a fuck about things being fair and right for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
but that spins so easily out of control. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like adding into, and look, there's a pretty strong, like a good decent trine between them, meaning Gemini and Chiron, or sorry, Chiron and Gemini and his Libra moon are kind of amplifying each other, I think, not in the best way.
And that's honestly a great example. If you guys, to end it here, if you guys are avid listeners, you've heard Danny and I talk about how like typical astrology is taught that trines are like amazing, but that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes trines can amplify things to, I mean, for lack of a better word, make things harder or more difficult, or you just have deeper lessons to learn in this life around those areas. And this is a perfect example of that. The moon trining Chiron that way, they are literally amplifying each other, much like what Danny's saying. But that means the fourth house is also trining what's ever in the eighth house. This, friends, is quite a tough placement. And poor Rob, I wouldn't want that for myself. And I've got some hard ass placements. You've got some hard ass placements. This one here, though, Libra Moon in 8, Chiron Gemini 4. Ugh. Especially
Huh.
if you don't
And
have
then
the
and then
tools,
his aqua to bring the full triangle, and then his goddamn Aquarius.
Exactly.
I
It
know.
just, and he doesn't really know how to. This is somebody who needs spiritual work in his life. This is
Oh
somebody who
yeah.
needs a spiritual healer, teacher on deck.
Hmm.
This is somebody who needs to understand how to process
Totally.
some of his feelings, um, especially being in the limelight the way that he is.
Yep.
And we're gonna find out where Rob is soon because what's done in the dark always comes to the light. Hello, Scorpio
Totally.
season. So we're gonna find out
Hello,
where
Pluto
Rob
and
is.
Aquarius for 30 years. None of us can fucking
Exactly.
hide.
None of us can hide. None of us can hide. And so it's going to be interesting to see what he has to say when he decides to speak. And he will. It's just a matter of time.
So true. And you know
Yeah.
what? We're gonna have this handy little Astrology After Dark episode
We
to
sure
reference when that does
are.
happen.
Sure, exactly. We sure are. Okay, friends, you already know what we're going to say. If you like the episode, share it with a friend, share it with a partner, share it with your loved one, share it on the gram, tag us at Danny That Witch Next Door, Ashley Michelle 90 Day. And don't forget to like and subscribe on the YouTube. We're on a journey to 1,000, so help us get there. And we will see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao for now. Hello, friends. I hope you loved today's episode. Make sure you share it with a friend, share it with somebody that you love, and tag me on the gram at Ashley Michelle 90 Day and let me know your thoughts. Leaving that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify is literally what helps this work get to the right people. As you may or may not know, we are in the middle of a spiritual revolution, and us being able to get our hands on resources like this podcast and others is what is literally going to make the world go round. So do me this favor and please leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and share the episode with somebody you love. It really, truly does mean the world to me. I love you so very much, and I will see you in the next one.